Hi again, people. This is an interesting little case here. And I don't think I've ever come across this, so I'm going to give you my legal input. I'm not a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. You can't sue me. You're a dummy if you listen to me and say that I told you to do it. All right, so there's my disclaimer. Let's check this out because this is pretty interesting.
Viral video posted by a local attorney. It shows a Raleigh County family court judge showing up to a home to do a hearing and a search and seizure for a contempt case without a warrant. Now the legality of it is being questioned, and Newswatch reporter Anna Saunders joins us live in the studio with that story.
Okay, so a judge shows up to do a search. Now, I'm not sure there's anything that prevents a judge from coming in a search other than it gives the appearance of impropriety to where the judge is now personally involved. And attorneys working for the DA's office, we don't want to make the attorney a witness. So anytime we're investigating a case and we're interviewing witnesses or doing anything, sometimes the attorney may listen outside, but if the attorney comes in and starts asking questions, he becomes a witness, and then he can be called on the stand. And then it gets all kind of muddy because the defense attorney gets to put the prosecutor, under oath on the stand. And prosecutors don't ever, no lawyer ever wants to go on a stand under oath. As soon as they go under oath, they either take the fifth or they say, I don't recall. So that's what lawyers are trained to do. That's what they do when they get on a stand. They love spreading lies like politicians and running their mouths when they're not under oath and they're not held accountable for their lies. But if you get an attorney on a stand, it's scary. So, judges are attorneys with their fancy little black robes. So, they already know the same rules that the attorney knows, and judges do not want to be on a stand. Judges think they're exempt, they're above the law. You can't ever put us on a stand because we wear a robe and you pesky citizens are nothing. So, judges do not like to go on a stand. When this judge shows up to search a guy's house without a warrant, was she violating the law, or did she just make herself a witness and will probably be sanctioned by the ethics board or by the other judges or the presiding judge, which really is nothing. They'll be like, hey, Betty, probably can't do that again, man. We got a lot of publicity. Next time, don't do that. Okay, thanks, Bob. We going to dinner tonight? Yeah, okay. So that'll be the big government, punishment. But I'll get to more stuff as they say it.
Well, that's right, Yasmin. Judge Louise Goldston was presiding over a case involving Matt Gibson and his ex-wife. She filed a contempt after the divorce was finalized to get more of the items they agreed upon, like DVDs and pictures.
Okay, so this is about DVDs and pictures. And the wife, and women always do well in court, they especially do well in court when there's a woman judge, which this judge has to be a woman. Rick, why are you picking on women? I'm not. They're all equal. They're all perfect. They're all great. So here we have a woman judge taking the woman's side on a divorce, and she goes to this guy's house and orders the cops to go in and seize pictures off his wall. Now, can she do that? I don't think a family court judge can issue a warrant. She may be able to issue a contempt citation, say he's in contempt. She may even be able to issue a seizure notice, like if a husband wouldn't give up a car and he says, I ain't giving her the car, she could issue an order for deputies to go seize that car and give it to the wife. I think they could probably do that. Can they issue a search warrant? I'm not sure. I've never went to a family court judge for a search warrant. Now, remember, judges, just because they're working family court doesn't mean they didn't work criminal before, didn't mean they weren't assigned to felonies. Judges, depending on the size of a courtroom, will be assigned to different areas. You'll have, this year, you're going to work family court. Next year, you're going to work criminal court. Next year, you're going to work high-risk felonies. Next year, you're going to work homicides. Next year, you're going to work child molestation cases. So there's all kind of issues on how judges are assigned. So just because a judge is assigned to a family court, does that take away their ability to issue a warrant? I don't think it does. And if I'm trying to remember if they ever had the family court judge on call, because they usually have a judge on call. So if, as a cop, when I'm out there working, if I need to get a warrant, I call up the dispatcher, I go, who's the on-call judge? And they go, here's her cell phone number, here's her address. And then I'll call the judge and say, Judge, I need a warrant signed. Here's what I got, blah, blah. She'll say, okay, bring it by the house and I'll sign it. Or she'll say, I'll come into the office and meet you. Or I'm not at home. I'm at the bar. I'm having dinner. Bring it over here. So wherever they're at, we'll bring them the warrant. They'll read it. We'll brief them and they'll sign it. So just because they're working family court, does it still not mean they're a judge? This is a very, very touchy case. I don't think it's lawful for her to search because it creates problems later about bias and whether or not she's really able to hear the case because she's picked sides. However, is there a law that says a judge can't go search with the cops? I don't think there is. If somebody knows it, cite it in the comments. Here we go.
When Gibson stated in the courtroom that he wasn't sure if he had them or wasn't sure where they were, the judge decided to take the hearing to his home.
Okay, so because he's in court and the judge knows she's lying and this guy's jerking her around, because when you get in his house, obviously he has the pictures and the DVDs are right there. And the wife is making a 3-alarm case about this because she wants her pictures and DVD. You know what? Hey, me and my wife had a good divorce, but I gave her all the wedding pictures. You know what? That's what she wants. Whatever. I mean, pictures to me and most guys aren't a big deal. But sometimes guys say, you know what? You've taken everything else from me. Screw it. I know the pictures are important, so I'm not giving you those. So it sounds like this guy was like, I didn't want to give her the stuff. And I was telling the judge, because when they asked him, do you have the pictures and DVDs at the house? He said, I don't know, or I can't remember, or I'm not sure. And so now you just heard she's moving the location of the hearing to his house. Can she move a public hearing to a private residence? I'm pretty sure she can't do that. So she's going to say, I just moved the hearing, but I don't believe that. She entered this guy's home and had the cops, under her orders, enter his home and seize property without a warrant. Remember, there's only 3 ways you can get in the house in America so far. Well, maybe 4 now with the coronavirus. But there's only 3 ways. Exigency, meaning an emergency, a search warrant, or consent. That's it. Government can't get in your house unless those 3 things. Now, exigency falls all under, we thought he had the coronavirus, we thought he was on fire, we thought a child was being abused, we thought there was a domestic, so there's all kind of exigency. But without exigency, you need a warrant or consent. This guy doesn't give consent, and there wasn't a warrant issued. So the judge will probably say, the exigency is, I felt he was going to destroy these if I didn't go get them, and I went to go get them to prevent destruction of evidence, therefore it precludes the warrant. The argument to that will be, well, you gave him an hour before you went there, so you really weren't worried about him destroying it, or he could have destroyed it in the hour. So your argument is kind of moot, but we'll see how this plays out. This will be interesting.
And began searching through it with Raleigh County deputies. Gibson, a federal agent himself, felt it wasn't right and began filming. Take a look.
Good for the federal agent. A federal agent filmed this. Said, hey, man, this doesn't sound right. Good for him. So this is the judge in her Me Too or whatever He-Man haters uniform. And she's out here with the cops because she has the big man to enforce her word because whatever. And she's going to show this man that he ain't going to screw over a woman because women are perfect and she runs the court and women moms are perfect and now she's a single mom and whatever.
There's no search warrant. I need a list of everything that we're looking for.
You've got a list of everything with reports
Not
attached to
today.
the order.
No.
So it sounds like he's texting an attorney because he says, I need a list of what you're searching for. And the reason he needs a list is he's correct. His attorney probably told him, look, anybody that searches your house, they have to provide you with a copy of the warrant. And on that warrant needs to be a list of things with specificity about what you're looking for. I'm looking for any pictures of the children and any DVDs that are in the house that could have belonged to you and your wife. That's what would have been in a warrant had they had a warrant. But this woman is just like, I don't need a warrant. I don't have a list of things. We're going to go in and see what we find. That's called a fishing expedition. Sounds illegal, but is it illegal because she was there? Or is it illegal because she didn't write out a warrant or have a cop write a warrant out and have her sign it? That'll be the sticking point on this case.
Not today. I don't know where someone was at.
Well, we're going to find
You got it?
Your motion's denied. It's not timely filed.
I need a search warrant. You won't get in my house without a search warrant.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Oh, yeah, I will. Look at that. Woo, she's a big, strong power. Oh, yeah, I will. I have a man behind me with a gun. My hand's in my pocket. My drawers are droopy, but I got a man with a gun behind me, and I will get in your house, you pesky citizen, thinking you have rights. How dare you? You're a man, a mean, evil man that's abandoning his wife and kids, and oh my God, it's disgusting.
And she did. Matt Gibson said he was told in court he had 10 minutes to get back home before they were coming. He said the judge, along with 3 police officers, his ex-wife, and her attorney, entered the home with...
So the judge brought his ex-wife and her attorney. Now, to me, the attorney that cooperated with this, if there is a rule, and I'm not aware of it, the attorney has some liability here for not saying, I'm not going to cooperate with an unlawful search. I'm not going to be involved in this. Judge, if you want to go in, me and my client staying out. I think that would have been better advice. Now, here's where it gets muddy. Everybody's like, Rick, you're always changing your opinion. You're inconsistent. The law's not consistent, you big dummies. There is a way when I get a warrant that if I'm looking for something and I don't know what the specific items look like, let's say I'm going to a pawn shop and I think this pawn guy is buying a lot of stolen goods. And I had a nice big burglary and the guy had a bunch of rings and jewelry that only he can identify. He can explain it to me, but he knows what they look like. I can do a warrant to go search this pawn shop, and in the warrant, I can ask for permission to bring the property owner with me so he can identify those items. That's lawful. I've done it. It's done all the time. It's not illegal. It's fully lawful. Again, here, we didn't have a warrant. Now, this judge is going to say, hey, if I can issue a verbal warrant, which she can, I can call her up and she can say, I don't need to sign it. Go ahead, go search it. I can call her up and get an arrest warrant. Here's my probable cause, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you have probable cause. Go arrest him. It does not have to be written. It's better written, but it doesn't have to be. Now, it has to be written later and it has to be followed up, but I don't need a written arrest warrant in my hand to go arrest somebody. Technically, I'm not sure I need a written search warrant. I mean, I'm required to give them a copy when I'm there, and I'm required to leave a list of things that I've taken in the warrant with the property owner. But if I got a verbal search warrant, I think they can give a verbal search warrant, and that's what I think she's going to claim. It was a warrant. All I had to do was have a deputy write it, and I would have signed it. So therefore, it was legal. We just maybe didn't follow the right rules, but what we did was legal. That's how they're going to get out of it, but I'll be interested to see if this case goes anywhere.
Without a warrant and began seizing items, threatening arrest if he did not comply.
They seized the photos off the wall.
So he did have photos. So she may try to get him for a perjury, because when he was testifying, if he was under oath and he said, I don't know if the pictures are there, and they walk in and find them on the wall, that's a pretty good perjury case. How are you going to say, I didn't know they were there? They're on the freaking wall. So this guy ain't out of the woods, but it was still unlawful, I think, what they did. At a minimum, unethical and not in the spirit and intent of the law.
Searched his closet. They came through here to the kitchen. They searched the cabinets in here.
His phone was taken outside as he was caught recording, but he submitted the video and audio to local attorney John Bryan, who then put it up on YouTube. He said he handles lots of illegal search and seizure cases, but never one like this.
I don't know if I've ever really heard that my house was illegally searched by a judge. And the reason for that is because that's not what judges do. Judges do not search houses.
Well, there's a difference between what they don't do and what they're allowed to do. So if you're going to say they don't search houses, that's different than they're not allowed. And if they're not allowed, why aren't they allowed? It's your case. You need to make your point.
Judges do not search anything.
He says he has not been able to find other cases like this in his research, but he believes it is in strong violation of the Fourth Amendment.
I'm thinking I had a judge come on a ride-along with me one time, and we did a probation or parole search. He wasn't there on a search warrant that he issued, but again, I don't know if that would be wrong or not.
Amendment.
The information I have as of right now is that there was no warrant, and I don't see there wasn't consent. You can see that from the video, and I'm unaware of any information as to any exigency.
What's the 3 ways you get in the house? Consent, warrant, exigency. You just heard him check all those boxes.
existing. And I also haven't found any court order, any sort of seizure order.
Bryan also expressed.
Now, family court, well, I was talking about she could have gave an order for a judge. When he said seizure order, that's probably what they call it where they're at, is she could have issued a seizure order to go seize all the pictures off the walls and all videotapes and bring them into court, and then we'll decide. Now, that would have been lawful, I think. I don't like it, but I think it would have been lawful.
Concern over the fact that Gibson received a call from his ex-wife's attorney, Kyle Lusk, the day before, offering a $5,000 settlement. In the recorded voicemail, Lusk.
So the attorney called him the day before and offered a $5,000 settlement, and I don't know if that means he pays $5,000 or she pays $5,000. My guess is the wife said he can keep the pictures and videotapes if he gives me $5,000. And this guy goes, hell no, you've already taken everything else. I ain't giving you either. And so the judge ran into court and played the victim card on the poor woman, single mom, and the judge put on her superwoman cape and flew out there with armed deputies and unlawfully searched his house. Wow.
Says he was asked to do that by the court, but Bryan believes that was in violation of ex parte communication, which is why he also put the voicemail online.
Okay, an ex parte communication is where the parties meet without the other party there. To me, I don't think that falls under ex parte. The two parties were talking. That's not ex parte. Ex parte is where one party isn't there. Now, if this attorney, oh, I got it. He said he was instructed. I don't know if y'all caught that because I missed it. The lawyer said this was on the court that told him to offer the settlement, I think. Let's hear that again.
But Bryan believes that was in violation of $1,000 settlement. In the recorded voicemail, Lusk says he was asked to do that by the court.
Okay, so the attorney said I was asked to do this by the court. That is an ex parte. Why is the judge telling, and then when they say the court, they mean the judge. Why is the judge telling one party without him to call the other party and make a settlement? Unless that was said in open court with both parties there. So that could have been an ex parte communication.
But Bryan believes that was in violation of ex parte communication, which is why he also put the voicemail online. Bryan said he wanted to put all of this out there to shine a light, as he believes his client is not alone in what he's gone through.
If we allow the integrity of the judicial system to be bent in any way...
Dude, you can't even say that lie with a straight face. Our criminal justice system bent in any way? It's bent 14 ways to Sunday. How the hell can you say that with a straight face?
I mean, it is just a ripple effect. It's a slippery slope. And the courts are nothing without their legitimacy.
Hey guys, I need...
Which is why they're nothing, because they have no legitimacy. They don't care. They pick and choose. They ignore. They push their liberal left-wing agenda.
Get off my property, please. Hey, you ain't allowed on my property. The only ones allowed right now is the judge and the deputy. Step off the property. Yeah. Step off the property. Judge, can I ask you something real quick before we get started?
So he told the cops to get off the property, and this cop ignored him. That's kind of what I did when I dealt with people like that. I just kind of ignore them. I mean, if I thought there was a legitimate reason that I could maybe convince the guy, I might try to talk to him. But usually, I'm not going to get in that circular logic argument about whether I can and what law, and he has Fourth Amendment rights. I'm just not going to do that. We'll do this in a court. Look, whatever's going to happen out here is going to happen. You can make your objections, but hey, unless there's a criminal act, we're going to do what we're going to do. And if we're being the criminals, that's okay. You got to prove that later. But if you do anything criminal, you're going to jail.
Judge, can I ask you something before we get started? Can you come here? I ain't trying to have everybody else listen.
Well, Mr. Watkins will listen.
That's good. I'm asking you right now, I'm putting in a motion to recuse yourself because you're putting this...
So he's saying I'm putting in a motion for you to recuse yourself, meaning that, hey, she's personally involved, which is a good move on his point, because she's going to say, screw you. Judges hate to leave a case on a request of somebody because it makes them seem like, oh, you're saying I'm unbiased? Let me show you how unbiased I am. I'm not going to remove myself. How about that? Because that's in your face. Judges hate to be removed.
Now, I did reach out to Judge Golson, who cannot comment on ongoing litigation. I also reached out to Kyle Lusk, who said he also couldn't comment, but did say there was a contempt hearing and Gibson failed to comply. Definitely a story to keep tabs on.
Okay, so the judge is going to say that because it was a contempt, this guy violated her order to bring the things. That's why she went and got them. Again, is it legal? Hey, if and buts and coconuts. Who knows? You know, the next judge may say, yeah, the next 3 judges on appeal may say no, and the Supremes may go, yeah. You know, and that's why when people quote the law and say, I know the law, and here it is, you don't know shit unless you've been in the system and dealt with it. All right, we'll end that there.